Now broadcasting from his hidden bunker and fully stocked bar, it is the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor.
Thank you, friends, and welcome once again to the Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor, adventurer, entrepreneur, and amateur downhill skier, and welcome to AWSM Radio, an independent, digital-only radio station that plays today's best music, old school classics, along with a rotating cast of all-star DJs. AWSM Radio focuses on mainstream artists, independent artists, along with a variety of interesting talk and music shows throughout the day. All we do is entertain, inspire, and inform. And I want to engage with you, my friends, and I want you to be part of the conversation. So, find me on Twitter and on Rizzle, which is a great app we should download today, at Colt S. Taylor, and catch up on the new and exciting things I'm up to, and read the news that I'm reading throughout the week at my website, ColtSebastianTaylor.com. All right, friends, let's get started with today's Saturday Report. It's once again for our weekly segment, the Kanye West 2020 Presidential Run Update. Yeezy 2020. My friends, I'm just as surprised as you are, but things are not going well on the court front of getting Yeezy on the ballot. Just recently, the last few days, judges in Virginia and I believe Arizona denied his ability to be on the ballots there. In Virginia, I believe it was the signatures he submitted were fraudulent. And in Arizona, since Kanye West is a registered Republican, in Arizona, you can't be on the ballot as independent if you're already registered with a political party. So, at this hour, this leaves him only on the states of Vermont, Minnesota, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Louisiana. Still an outside possibility of him getting on the ballot in Mississippi, Kentucky, North Dakota, and Rhode Island. Of these states, only Minnesota is a somewhat swing state. And from the polling I've seen, he's polling in at 1 or 2%, and I don't think one way or another that's really going to push things one way or another. So I believe his presidential run is somewhat plateauing at the moment. I don't see him getting on any other state ballots. The Kanye West show to get him on the ballots to legitimately run for president is not gaining a lot of steam. He hasn't really picked up much of the way of endorsements. He's still only endorsed by 2 Chainz, Chance the Rapper, DaBaby, Des Bryant, Kim Kardashian, Elon Musk, Darrell Revis, and Rochelle Stevens. His only endorsements, nothing coming from anywhere else. And again, I went over this last week. The states that he is on, it's not really going to move things one way or another in terms of those states. So really, the next question is, how many votes do you think Kanye West is going to get? Now, just like there is a deadline to get on the ballots, there is a deadline to get off the ballot as well. So you can submit papers to get your name off the ballot because you don't want to run anymore, you don't want your name on there anymore. But if you don't hit that deadline, those ballots are already printed and they've gone out the door, and your name is still going to be on there. So I'm not sure if he's getting to the point where he realizes this has not been as successful as perhaps his July 4th fever tweets thought they would be. So he might try to withdraw, but some of these deadlines have passed. So I think it's going to be interesting to see in, September? In 2 months, what exactly will be Kanye West's final vote count? And I'll tell you what, assuming we have internet the Saturday after Election Day, which, hey, who knows? I will definitely pull those numbers to find out how many votes he actually got in these states. And then, I don't know, I might try to beat it come 2024. We'll see where we are in this whole AWSM radio thing. But anyways, that is your Kanye West 2020 update. Side note, while researching this, apparently he's coming out with a music video very soon where his wife gives birth to her sister. The artistic world. I don't get it sometimes. Moving along to another update from a story I had previously done. David Blaine, I had mentioned in a previous episode of the Saturday Report, was going to do a new stunt called Ascension, where he would float over New York City holding helium balloons. Well, he successfully did it, not in New York. He moved the stunt to Arizona because of weather conditions, and I think he had some permitting issues. I mean, it's one thing to float aimlessly up into the sky over Arizona. It's another thing to do it over New York City, where there's like 3 major airports in the area. So he moved to Arizona. He had his YouTube live event. It was 3 hours long. I did not watch all of it because about an hour and a half of it is just him talking about balloons and stuff like that. However, I did watch the part where they were going to launch him. He had 50 helium balloons, and he was holding on to it, but at the same time, he had a harness on that, he was hooked into the helium balloons. He wasn't holding on to the balloons just by sheer wrist strength, which would have been impressive, but also, highly dangerous and whatnot. So they got him all the balloons, and then his daughter, he wouldn't float. They did a little bit. He wouldn't float. His daughter gave him the last balloon that he needed to float up in the sky. And I'll tell you what, he did get up there. He got up to about, he was hoping to get to 18,000 feet. Ended up getting to 24,900 feet, which is about 4.7 miles up in the sky, just attached to a bunch of balloons. It's like nightmare fuel for me, because I am not a fan of heights or flying, so this is a big no for me. And up there, I mean, the oxygen is thin, so you could pass out up there. And if he were to pass out up there, he would obviously let go, but he still strapped the balloons, and he would just keep on floating until the balloons either ran out, the helium slowly escaped, and he started floating back down, and then who knows where he would land, or he could go up higher and higher and just asphyxiate. So there was, even though he wasn't holding on by sheer hand grip strength, there was a notable amount of danger in this stunt. So he got up to almost 25,000 feet. He detached himself and parachuted. He skydived for a bit and parachuted down to the ground, landed in the desert, and it was a successful David Blaine stunt. Now, if he did pass out, I'm not quite sure what they would have done about that. I'm sure they had a backup plan. There are helicopters that could get up that high and perhaps pop a few of the balloons so he would descend into thicker air and start breathing in. I don't think you could catch him with an airplane. That seems... what you want to do in that situation is pop 1 or 2 balloons so he starts sinking and hopefully regains consciousness so he can cut loose and pull his chute. You don't want to pop them all and have him drop and just hope he wakes up before he hits the ground, whatnot. But anyways, inspired by the movie Up, it's on YouTube Live. You can probably look it up yourself. I didn't watch it in the entire 3 hours. If you did and would like to call in and give us a more detailed review of this stunt, you're more than happy to. More than happy to have any one of my many reporters in the field here on my show to give me a report on something that I just don't have the time or interest to watch for the summary. The next update here on the show is actually from a story I covered last week about the mysterious deaths at Fort Hood. I counted 12, but according to a news report, they actually counted about 20 different deaths in a variety of different reasons and over the last year. And a base of similar size and population has only experienced about 10. Now, it's not uncommon for soldiers to die at an Army base. There's a lot of dangerous activities that go on there, a lot of strenuous, rigorous training and whatnot, and it is something that unfortunately happens. And, in fact, speaking of Fort Hood, there has been another death of a soldier who passed away just this week during training. His name was Private Carlton L. Chi. He was a 25-year-old tank crewman from New Mexico, and he collapsed during physical fitness training on August 28th. Again, something that is rare but does happen during training, and he passed away. As a result, actually, this actually happened before this soldier passed away, but the commanding general of the Fort Hood, has been relieved of duty due to widespread outcry of what exactly is going on at the Army base. Like I said, a higher than average and usual amount of deaths there between accidents, training accidents, homicides, just a kind of a mess there. And the person in charge of that base has been relieved. So I'll be following this rather closely. It's a weird thing that's going on there. Hopefully, if there's something nefarious underneath the sheets, whoever is now in charge there will root it out, get rid of it, and get things back under control. But I will tell you, my friends, something that you do not need to worry about being under control, and that's the beats on Friday nights at 9 p.m. and Sunday nights at 10 p.m. because my boy, DC, AWSM's live in-house DJ, is going to be mixing up on those days. You do not want to miss him while he smashes it on the ones and twos, kicking the beats from his South Florida secret compound. I got a sneak peek of Sunday's festivities, and it is fantastic. You were probably listening last night, stayed up all night, charged, juiced from his amazing work to listen to my show, but if for some reason you missed Friday night, you can catch him on Sunday at 10 p.m. Mark your calendars. Every Friday, 9 p.m., Sunday, 10 p.m. DC live in effect here on AWSM Radio. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. Next up, friends, I want to talk to you about space. The final frontier. Star Trek Discovery, actually. So, I don't know how many trekkers out there, any Star Trek nerds out there. I enjoyed the show immensely. Watched The Next Generation primarily. Have seen all the movies. I would say the only one I never really got into too much was Enterprise with Scott Bakula. I'm a big Scott Bakula fan. Anyways, the new Star Trek series, Star Trek Discovery, it's on CBS, their online streaming service. And this season 3, are going to feature their first non-binary and transgender characters played by non-binary and transgender actors. Their names are Blue Del Barrio will play Adria, and then Ian Alexander will play Gray on Star Trek in this season of Star Trek Discovery. Ian Alexander will play Gray. He's going to play a Trill host, which, if you're a fan of Deep Space Nine, you'll know who Trill is. And then Adria, I'm probably saying the name wrong, will find a new home on the USS Discovery and form an unexpected bond with Lieutenant Commander Paul Stamets, played by Anthony Rapp, and Dr. Hugh Colbert, played by Wilson Cruz, according to this article. Now, listen, friends, I'm sure there are folks out there who are up in arms about Star Trek featuring a non-binary character and a transgender character played by a non-binary actor and transgender actor. And they're probably up in arms saying that this PC culture is killing the thing that they love, Star Trek. Well, my friends, let me drop just a wee bit of trivia and history on you this Saturday morning. So, did you know that the first interracial kiss ever aired on TV was on Star Trek? Yes, that's right. Captain Kirk and Uhura on the original Star Trek, the original series, kissed on screen, which was the first time on TV someone who was white and someone who was black had kissed on television. Caused a lot of uproar at the time. That just wasn't a thing you saw on TV. Now, Nichelle Nichols, who played Uhura, She was actually, this is some more trivia for her. She was going to leave Star Trek. She wanted to go back to theater. She wanted to leave Star Trek altogether, enjoyed it, whatnot, but, wasn't really feeling that her career was sort of getting stuck there by being on Star Trek. So she was going to she went to a meeting, whatnot, and the organizer said, hey, one of your biggest fans wants to meet you, loves watching Star Trek. And she said, oh, I would love to meet this person. And she turned around there, and it was Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Jr. came up to, he said, he's a big fan. My family and I, we Star Trek's like the only show we watch with our kids. We love watching the show. It's just really great to meet you. And she was dumbfounded. And she said, I'm thinking about leaving the show and going back to theater. And Martin Luther King said, no, you can't. People need to see this. You are a African-American woman in a position of power on the crew. You're one of the top crew members. They need to see, we need to be represented on TV. And he convinced her to stay on Star Trek. So, going back here, I think it is fantastic that they're featuring a non-binary character and a transgender character on Star Trek Discovery, played by the appropriate people to play these roles, and whatever outrage it may cause. And seriously, folks, 2020, it shouldn't cause that much outrage. This is the future. People are going to be way cooler with things then than they are now. I think it's fantastic. In fact, I have only seen clips because I subscribe to entirely too many streaming services. I might just subscribe to CBS to support this because, one, do like myself some Star Trek, and two, this is a great thing that they are doing. Staying in space, going from Star Trek to Star Wars, The Mandalorian Season 2 is coming out, and I am excited about this. You can watch it on Disney+. I thought the first season was great. Love Pedro Pascal. Great actor. Game of Thrones, several other series, several other movies. Taika Waititi was in this. Bill Burr, one of my favorite comedians. Carl Weathers was in it. The first season. Baby Yoda, you've seen the meme. Great series, done well. Hopefully they take that format and apply that to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that they're working on with Ewan McGregor. I can't wait. But the big thing with Season 2, which you may not have heard, is that a popular character from the Star Wars cartoon, Clone Wars, which a lot of people have very strong loyalty and feelings towards Clone Wars, and then Star Wars Rebels, which was sort of a shoot-off from there. The character, a beloved character from that series, is coming to live action for the first time. Ahsoka Tano, which hopefully I'm saying right, don't want to upset my Star Wars demographic, is going to be played by Rosario Dawson. And I want to see this. I think this could be really, really good. I am not, admittedly, I love watching Star Wars just like I like watching Star Trek. I am not obsessed with it. I have a working knowledge where, I know who the major people are. I know the concept of these universes. I have not seen every single episode, watched most of the movies, have not seen everything, all the bits and pieces, the novels, so I am no Jedi Master when it comes to the Star Wars universe. But I do like a well-put-together TV series. Season 1 was really great, lots of humor, lots of tense moments, too. And then, so I'm looking forward to Season 2 of The Mandalorian on Disney+. Let me know what you think. In fact, let me know what you think about any of these stories on Twitter or Rizzle, Colt S. Taylor, and would love to trade some thoughts with you about what you think about specific episodes. Don't spoil anything for me. Oh, I hate spoilers. They're just terrible. All right. And yes, we will stay in space for this next story. Yes, 3 consecutive space stories here on the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor. This one, however, is not in the world of fiction, but in the world of reality. Scientists this spring confirmed that they witnessed, observed 2 massive black holes colliding into one another to form one big giant black hole. This, of course, happened 13 billion years ago, and the energy from that collision and explosion just reached our solar system. It disrupted space and time slightly in a way that they could detect. At that point, reading the article, I didn't quite understand what they were saying, so can't tell you what's going on. It's not like things suddenly shift to the left in their laboratory or they transport themselves, but some doodad went whoop, and then, whoa, that's a black hole explosion. I guess there's a machine to detect that. But that's not the point. The point is, it's very interesting that they were able to observe a very rare event, two black holes slamming each other. Apparently it has more energy than, like, hundreds of times of our suns put together. Like if 100 of our suns all exploded at the same time and all the atoms exploded, that would equal the amount of energy that these black holes released when they collided. So space is a amazingly interesting thing. I think it's also just, I can't wrap my mind around that this happened 13 billion years ago. Like, the energy and the light from this collision only reached us just now 13 billion years ago, because speed of light can only go so fast. So if you're looking out into the night sky, you're really looking into the past. Like, what you're looking at right now, the stars, they may not be there if you were to travel to them now. If you would open up some sort of wormhole and step through and boom, you're there, the sky on the other side of that wormhole a billion years from now is going to look way different than it would today. So I thought it was an interesting story. Blew my mind. Just imagine two black holes slamming into each other. It's probably, that has to be like the plot point of some movie of that's not yet to be written. And if this story inspires you to write the next great sci-fi franchise that involves two black holes slamming into each other, I would like a cameo in that movie. You heard it here. Colt Sebastian Taylor. I want a cameo in that movie. Okay, let's come back from space and into the virtual world of Animal Crossings. Now, Animal Crossings is a Nintendo Switch game. Beyond that, I don't know how it works. I believe you make some sort of island, you harvest food, attract animals to there, maybe you build a hotel, say you're sorry, Yahtzee. I don't know how it works. But what I do know is that you can show your support for various campaigns now, because the campaign of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have made yard signs available virtual yard signs to stick into your Animal Crossings yard to show your support for their run for president. No word yet that I'm aware of official Trump signs, Trump-Pence signs. I don't know if the Animal Crossing demographic overlaps a whole lot with the GOP. It might. I'm sure there's a few on there, but probably overlaps more with the left-leaning demographic of this country. But you can get your Joe Biden, Kamala Harris yard signs, stick them in your Animal Crossing yard, and I don't think they give you anything special, but I think it's interesting that the campaign is seeing where future political advertising might go. It might go to these virtual worlds and whatnot. There's a lot of online gaming, people gaming with each other, and especially during this time of COVID-19 quarantine. People are doing a lot more online gaming than they have before. It's another avenue to promote candidacy, to promote issues. It's probably not going to be the last time we see this happen. We might be seeing virtual campaign signs in like World of Warcraft or other online. I don't do a lot of online gaming. Have you noticed? My friends? I don't have time. I would love to, but I would just get too obsessed with it. But hey, if people are willing to pay for it, I'm sure these gaming companies will be more than happy to take it. The people have already, guerrilla marketed their favorite candidates by naming characters after their favorite candidates or guilds or whatnot. But if campaigns start getting behind this, start putting some money into development of certain signs and, symbols and little achievements and flair, you're just gonna see more of it. It's a new frontier. I thought was interesting. So if you start seeing virtual signs in your favorite games, your favorite places, it started in Animal Crossings, and you can thank them for it. Next up, we're going to Scandinavia, the great white north of Europe, in Norway. Norway, a place I have always wanted to visit. Good food, nice people, beautiful fjords. Who doesn't like a good fjord? So if AWSM Radio wants to kick me some travel money, I'm looking at my station manager, and she's saying no. Thanks. But, Norway. They are a proud people. They also like to party. So an illegal rave was held in Norway in a concrete bunker with 250 people dancing the night away illegally, because you can't have the large groups in Norway because of the COVID-19 pandemic restrictions. Now, yes, the police did show up. You probably say to yourself, oh, Colt, well, of course the police are going to show up. They're going to see people dancing and raving. They can't be quiet. Concrete bunker, surely the sound got out. Nope. Okay, well, Colt, surely that people are cops are seeing these people holding glow sticks and Viking helmets, and they're walking to this abandoned concrete bunker. They got suspicious. Nope, and you shouldn't assume that they're Vikings. That's weird for you to say that. No, my friends, the police discovered this rave because they came across about 25 people confused and wandering around a park. Why? Carbon monoxide poisoning. You see, the rave needs power for its music and lights, so they hauled in some diesel generators. Ventilation was not ideal, and some people got overtaken by carbon monoxide poisoning. 25 people went to the hospital, some in critical condition. No one has died, last I checked, but they had this massive rave, and they got themselves hurt, not with COVID-19, although I'm sure that'll pop up the next 2 to 3 weeks, but carbon monoxide poisoning due to the diesel generators they hauled in to have their rave party. Norwegians, they like to pillage and raid, and they also like to party during COVID-19 pandemics. So if I were to go to Norway, I would go to a rave, but not during the pandemic, and not in a poorly ventilated bunker with diesel generators. So I thought that was interesting. Thankfully, no one died. Some people got hurt, but no one has died. But they'll probably be looking. It's probably the one thing they'll do once and realize, you know what? Maybe I'll just wait to rave. Do a virtual rave. Next up, flying the friendly skies. You probably have not traveled anywhere by air over the last, 6 months. Has it been that long? Who knows? But people are flying a bit now. There's a lot of restrictions in place depending on what airline you fly on. Some airlines just, are YOLO and just hoping for the best. But I'm not talking about flying inside a plane. I'm talking about flying outside of a plane. Nope, that's not a David Blaine follow-up. Several pilots in the LA area have reported their plane being buzzed by a man wearing a jetpack. Yeah, let's let you mull over that just for a moment. But yes, someone in LA has a jetpack and has been flying close enough to major jumbo jet planes that pilots are looking out the window and saying, hey, there's a guy with a jetpack flying by me. And not as they're landing, but at 3,000 feet. That's a significant distance up in the sky for someone in a jetpack just to be scooting around the sky. So the FAA does not know who this is, but they've gotten more than one report, so they're trying to figure out what's going on. Is it actually a person? Is it a drone that looks like a person? Drone sightings near airports have been an increasing problem lately. To the point where they're trying to insert software into drone programs to keep them physically away from airports, and they've got lookouts looking for drones, and it's a real security problem with these drones in airports. But now they're dealing with guys in jetpacks scooting around the sky near airplanes, and I could not help but to think of an old movie called The Rocketeer. It's a Disney movie. It did not do well. Has Timothy Dalton in it as the bad guy, and some other people in it as well. But it's okay for what it is. But anyways, Rocketeer had this guy with a rocket pack flying through the air too and whatnot. I could not help but think of that movie. Should check it out. It holds up well over time. But boy howdy, I can't believe someone has a jetpack and thinking that this is a good idea, and I won't get in trouble for it. So, my friends, if you are traveling to LA and you spot the Rocket Man, you let me know, and I will have you here on the radio show. You can give me the full reports. Chances are, though, they're probably going to catch this guy pretty soon and find him and then take his jetpack. I'll tell you who is flying through the sky high as a bird, not because she's taking any recreational drugs, but because she's so good at what she does. I'm talking about my friend, Rox. She's the host of the Rock Sessions, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. here on AWSM Radio. It's a drive time show, and it's going to make sure that your evening commute home is fun, my friends. It features some of the hottest music on the charts and some surprises in between. It's a fantastic show. I catch it whenever I can. I'm not always commuting home during these times, but when I do, I am never disappointed. Check out my friend Rox on the Rock Sessions. She's great. You'll enjoy the show here on AWSM Radio. Next, we go overseas to Vietnam, where a 92-year-old man has not had a haircut in 80 years. The last time he had a haircut was when he was 12. And if you can imagine, he is the ultimate COVID-19 hair. We all of our hair is a little bit longer, beard's a little bit bigger, but this guy has hair that's braided, and not like a thin braid, like a braid the size of a, I don't know, like a sewer pipe, basically, a big ball cylinder of hair that he has to wrap around his head in a turban just to transport it around. I believe it's over 7 feet long of this heavy hair. I can't imagine how much shampoo he goes throughout the day, or if he does wash it, it must weigh like 30 or 40 pounds until it dries out. But he has had but straight enough, he does not have the world's longest hair. It's just very notable that he has not had a haircut in 80 years. So it's about what you can expect to see from hair that has not been maintained for 80 years. It's a little dirty, I suppose you could say. But he walks around all day long. There's several pictures of him hiking up hills with this turban of hair. I guess he makes a little money on the side as a tourist attraction, but he seems perfectly okay and happy having this massive amount of hair. His youngest son, who is in his late 60s, helps him every day. Get his hair arranged and put up into a turban and washes and cleans it because that would stink after a while. But yeah, if you think you have not had a haircut in a while, my friends, this guy has you beat. Over 80 years. 80 years. This guy's haircut last time this guy had a haircut was well before my grandparents were born. It just blows my mind. There's so much hair. It'd be funny if he's been wanting to get a haircut every week, but just something comes up for the last 80 years. Oh, well, next week. And boom, suddenly he's 92. That's probably what's going to happen to me. And I'll have a beard that's 6 feet long. Next up, folks, the world of entertainment. As you know, there are a lot of very good TV comedy shows on TV. There's several that I love to watch. I used to love to watch The Office. And The Office was, the American Office was based off of a British TV show also called The Office, and was brought over here, and the American version of that show was made and actually had more seasons than the British version. Now, that happens a lot, that people will take shows overseas and do their version of it, and it has happened again where now an American show is being remade elsewhere. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Andy Samberg, great cast, very funny. I think it's great. Was almost canceled a few times, and fans brought it back and went to another network. But it is being remade in another country. Probably think to yourself, all right, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. France, no. Germany, no. Sweden, no. Quebec, yes. French-Canadian TV. is doing their version of Brooklyn Nine-Nine called French word 99. I can't say it. And they're doing kind of a shot-for-shot, line-for-line remake of the show. And it's all in French. I watched a clip. But the thing that has piqued some eyebrows, that if you're not familiar with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, there are two female leads on there, Amy Santiago and Rosa. And they're both played by Hispanic women, Latina women. In the French-Canadian version, they're just played by two white girls. I guess they don't have a lot of French-speaking actresses of Hispanic descent up there, but that was something that struck as being a little odd on there, that they weren't able to match the diversity of the show that we have down here with their French-Canadian version. And I believe they even kept the names, even though like Amy Santiago and like, oh, that's it. It's funny how that works out up there. But at the same time, they say, imitation is the finest form of flattery. So hopefully the folks that are in charge of that show and the actor and actresses are getting a little extra something for them being sort of remade in French-Canadian TV. But yeah, you'd be surprised how many shows get produced elsewhere with their own versions, and how many shows over here in the United States are borrowed from other shows. Like, for example, in the United States, we had the show Elementary, which is a Sherlock Holmes told in a modern era. Well, on the BBC, they have their own Sherlock Holmes as well, but they took a completely different take one time. Like here in the United States, Watson was played by Lucy Liu, which, I kind of fell out of watching that. I should get back to that. It was really good. I don't even know if they're still on. But, yeah, anyways, so check out your shows. It might be worth checking out on their Wikipedia page to see if they're based off of a foreign show or if the show's been remade elsewhere. A lot of people like to watch the British Office and then watch the American Office and compare and contrast notes. So, anyways, I thought that was interesting. If you are my one or two French-Canadian fans, be sure to check out this Brooklyn Nine-Nine remake and let me know how you like it. For the last story this week on the Saturday Report with Colt Sebastian Taylor, figured I would talk about something fun. Saddam Hussein. Yes. No, he's not back from the dead. Did not fake his death. But people on Facebook recently saw his face in an ad from Wish.com as a gift suggestion for them. I guess an automated ads were thrown together, pictures to be printed out in high resolution and given to gifts. You got your sunsets, your nature, dogs, whatnot. Well, a high-res stock photo of Saddam Hussein popped up in there, and that was being made as a suggestion to people of something you should buy from Wish.com to give as a gift to somebody else. Apparently, a few of them sold before it was taken down. I'm not quite sure who buys a photo of Saddam Hussein to give as a gift to somebody other than, like, as a gag gift. And, like, listen, it's not like classic 1990 Desert Storm Saddam Hussein. This is just pulled you out of the rat hole and you're being arrested by the United States picture with a big scraggly, like basically if I basically looked like me with a big old gray beard and wild hair and looked like he hadn't showered in quite a while. So like I shower every day, but like my beard is out of control. That sort of picture was being suggested for people to buy. And boy, let me ask you this, my friends. I'm asking a lot of questions, a lot of deep, thoughtful questions this week. What would you do if you came across a safe, message in a bottle? What if you came across a safe, you opened it, and inside you found a bottle, and inside that bottle, well, next to that bottle, you have spicy chicken nuggets, but inside that bottle was a rolled up picture of Saddam Hussein just after he captured. Like, that would just cap off the day for me. I'm like, all right, this makes sense. This was worth my time. All right. At that point, you have to keep it, because you have to keep the safe, the bottle, and the picture. We're probably right next to each other in some sort of display in your house, because that, my friends, is a story you have to tell every time someone comes over to visit. Well, that just about wraps up this week's Saturday Report with me, Colt Sebastian Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, my friends, you can find me on Twitter and Rizzle at Colt S. Taylor, so please feel free to engage me there if you think there's a story I should be covering. And also for your daily source of news, check out ColtSebastianTaylor.com. Post news stories there every day. Great way to get up to date in today's world. A lot of side projects I'm working on over there. Also, past episodes of the Saturday Report are posted there. So if you can check it out, I would really appreciate it. Well, until next week, my friends, I am, of course, your friend, Colt Sebastian Taylor, and I'll see you later.